he needed to demonstrate to me that he could do it safely. And so he took the bull by the horns and put together a plan for me. And I'll let him take over and explain what is it that you do to make sure that you're safe and your customers are safe.
So, number one, this is kind of obvious. You're going to want to wear a mask. You may want to not just wear any silly mask. Maybe invest in something that lets air out, but not spit or something like that. Another would be social distancing. You're going to want to stay 6 feet from the customer. So what I did is I made a giant sign so I can hold it up and they can still see it away from 6 feet. Also, in anything, you're going to need to interact somehow. They're going to need to either give you cash, their credit card, something like that. So you're going to need to make sure that maybe you reach out and try not to touch each other much. And that's most of the stuff.
So Nathan, in terms of the transaction, how do you generally encourage the customers to pay for their transactions?
So, because cash can be dirty for one, like, as in if you have too much, you're going to lose it. And you're now taking something directly from the customer. If you just take credit card, well then, if you have a Bluetooth one, they're just inserting it into a hole. If you have the swiper, then you're just sliding the credit card. So then that's, depending on how much space you have in the layout, you're probably not going to be touching each other at all.
What has been your overall experience now that you've been selling now for about 3 or 4 weeks, when you are received at a customer's door?
Some people will be like, oh, he's wearing a mask. Maybe I should go get mine too. Other people will be like, okay, I'm going to just answer the door now and see what he wants. Other people are just the same as normal and are like, I don't want popcorn, but thanks.
Yep.
COVID hasn't seemed to be an issue at all. If anything, it's boosted the fact that we're not taking much cash and we have an excuse to say, well, we're going to only take credit card this year.
Okay. Nathan, just to let you know that a lot of our scouts haven't even really started selling yet in our council. And so your hints and your tips are really, really helpful. Did you create a blow up poster of the product lineup that you're offering, or did you have product in hand, or what did you do?
So we got pictures of the product. I believe most of them were off of the Trails End website.
Mm-hmm.
Like when a customer goes to buy that website, we got them off of there. Then we separated the stuff that only online direct customers, like it was only available online. And then we did the stuff that's Wagon Sale and online direct. Mm-hmm. And so we separated them into 2 groups, direct shipping and direct shipping and scout delivery. We put direct shipping on top because, of course, we prefer direct shipping. We don't want to have to deliver it. And I guess you get 2 much points for every dollar, too. And then at the bottom, we put donate to our American heroes for military donations.
Okay, that's great. Hey, I want to turn our attention over to Zane. Zane Miner was the top-selling scout in the Buffalo Trace Council this last year. And Zane, you sold over $5,900 this last year. What led to that success? How did you get to that level? That's pretty high.
We did storefronts every single chance we could get, almost every single day. And if they said no, we don't want to buy your popcorn, I asked, well, could you donate could you make a dollar donation?
Mm-hmm. So did you use the Trails End app last year on a cell phone or anything like that? How did it work?
Great.
Great.
Question. Yep.
Yeah? Okay.
It was nice to see the your ongoing progress, and I mean, it motivated him to see his sales creep up to where, you know, his goal was, and I think the app really helped organize that and really, you know, show him what his progress was and really motivated him to keep going.
That's great. So back to Nathan for a quick question for you. So last year you sold popcorn. I mean, I can tell you're in the Scouts BSA troop and that. So what were the prizes that you went after selling popcorn this last year? How did
So
scouting role benefit?
I wanted to go for the $5,000 at the $5,000 rank for a Nintendo Switch. I got there, I'm like, wow, that was much easier than I expected. So I kept on going, trying to hit 5,500 to get a fish. That's not a ranking, it was just a deal I made with my parents. I got that easily again too, so then I went to 7,500. I'm like, okay, we have like $2,000 extra in donations. I'm gonna go for 10,000. We eventually got that, and we're like, okay, this is enough changing of the goal. We're gonna stop now.
Okay, Christy, question for you. You're the mother of a female Cub Scout. Did your daughter ever get hit by the customer saying, "Why are you in Cub Scouts?" You know?
We got hit with that more frequently than I thought we would. My daughter just simply said, I've been doing this for 2 years because I did it before I was a Cub Scout with my brother.
Mhm.
So with her brother being older, that was a great way for her to come back and say, hey, it's family. It's not just me by myself. So that made it a little bit easier for her to answer the questions. She's also did popcorn sales with her brother. She stood there because it's family oriented. We don't leave our kids out at a show and sell site where we're, you know, trying to sell products. She was always there. So even when she was in preschool, she was out there saying, hey, help my brother sell some popcorn. And I'm like, no, they want to buy the popcorn, you know, little cute things like that for a girl. So she's learned over the years how to interact with the customers, and her goal was to outsell her brother.
Great.
So on the family side, that helped us a lot.
Super. As you can tell in the chat box, there's a little bit of action there, and that is a good spot to throw questions to any of our participants from them. We appreciate you sharing your poster. Nathan, we really like that. One of the things I wanted to share too is this is a picture of our lineup that you'll see. Not always the best using Zoom and sharing screens and stuff like that, but you'll get the idea of there is a limited number of products that we are selling this year. And those products are going to be on a sales flyer as well. The show and sell program of having a lot of product in hand probably isn't going to be that popular this year, but we will be offering show and sell products for our units to order. But it is a limited quantity and a limited style of products. So microwave popcorn is not going to be part of our show and sell products. It is going to be offered in an online format only through the Trails End Popcorn Company. And that is predominantly due to the COVID pandemic and what we're getting impact with that. So they've had to modify their manufacturing process and how often they're making microwave product to meet consumer demand in the open market. So the Weaver Popcorn Company has kind of dialed it back a little bit in the Trails End market. So we know it's been a major seller for your units, but at the same time too, with the pandemic, you're going to be trying to steer customers towards the online sales. And the online sales method is one of those points too that I'd like to take it back to Nathan and have him talk a little bit about what he's done with online sales just in the last few weeks.
So I found out that, so there are a few products that are only available with online sales. So if you boost those, then you're gonna get an online sale if they want that product. So that's one thing. But then there's also the wagon sales. They say, "Oh, can I have that product?" Then you ask, "Do you want me to deliver it, or should I have them deliver it with the shipping fee?" But remember, with the shipping fee, it'll be here within just the next few days.
Well,
I also
I'm going to interrupt you on just a little point on that. The online sales, there is going to be a delay for delivery to the customer. This is not going to be like Amazon, where if on Saturday morning you place an online order for a customer, it could take a couple weeks before the customer is going to receive their product. The other part of it is the chocolate products are not going to be distributed at all until October, till the temperatures start dropping, especially in Indiana. So that is a strong concern that you need to inform your customers right away on as well. So if your online sales are having transactions happening now, there's a slight delay due to the COVID pandemic of a couple weeks, no matter what the product is, but chocolate items will be delayed until at least October. They're trying to custom build and custom manufacture the product lineups, and you'll be hearing more about that in the next couple weeks. But in the Trails End Facebook groups that is monitored with Trails End's help, they are informing us that some customers are getting it within a week, some it may take 2 or almost 3 weeks. So be cautious on that. Just be aware of it. Don't tell them it's just like Amazon, you'll get it real quick. And the shipping costs, as Nathan said, there are different time periods and different promotions that are going to be happening over the next several weeks at different points across the country, because some of this is in cooperation with local council decisions. We'll be offering periodic free shipping options. So for instance, if the product cost that they're purchasing, if the sale is more than $40, it's free shipping. I think is the next promotion that's coming up. A couple weeks ago, we had free shipping for all products ordered. And then the very first weekend in July, it was free shipping for everything that's ordered. And over the next couple weeks, we'll be doing some pilot test marketing across the council and with Trails End support. So the shipping costs are not set permanently throughout our online sale this year. So be aware of that. Just be cautious. Don't make promises we can't keep. And we'll be in good shape with our customers on feedback on that. So go ahead, Darren.
How has your experience been when customers do have to pay for shipping? How have the reactions been?
So when they do have to pay for shipping, they're mostly like, okay, but now since their order must be over $30, before telling them about the shipping, ask them to maybe add another product to completely eliminate the shipping.
That's great.
But some of the products, like the Chocolate Lovers collection, are already over whatever, like $30 or $40 mark. So then you just completely ignore shipping.
Super. How much practicing did you do for your speech last year, Zane? Did you practice at all on what your sales pitch was? Or just wing it?
I just winged it.
You just winged it to sell over $5,000. That's pretty cool. Okay. Christy, did you have any practice sessions with your pack and teaching other scouts how to sell?
So with my pack, yes, we did do a popcorn kickoff where we did role playing with all the scouts. However, with my 2 kids, on my personal experience, Hadley and Wyatt do better just on the fly. Just kind of walking up to the person and they may say, hey, I like your shirt. We do this in Cub Scouts based off of what their shirt says. So they do a lot better on that. But practicing with a pack when they're smaller, younger kids, it's a little less intimidating. So they are more welcome to talk to one another.
Nathan, any tips that you can offer for practicing ahead of time, or younger salespeople? What would you recommend?
So maybe just get an idea of what you want to say beforehand, but otherwise practicing will help you a little. Experience will help you much, much more.
Okay. So there's been some Trails End videos that I've seen on training scouts with sales pitches. And I think Luke Fuchs from San Francisco is one of those lead guys that has put presentations on with webinars with Trails End. And Luke talks about sharing his goal with the customer of, will you help support my scouting trail? Or I would like to go camping this next summer. Will you help me get there? Is that something any of you have used before?
Wyatt does that all the time. He'll tell them I'm X amount to my next goal. Once he hits that goal, then we raise the goal, kind of like what Nathan said he did. So then he's added $1,000. So then he's working on that next goal. So people will actually buy a little extra if you're close to that goal, because they want you to hit that goal. They want you to feel confident and they want you to succeed.
Do you talk about your goal in scouting, or do you just keep it financial?
Well, for our kids, they're in the pack. So they're not working towards a big quest as, going to the summit or going to wherever. So for them, they try to keep it as, right now I'm trying to hit this. If I hit this dollar amount, then we get to go to St. Louis and we get to go to the wherever we're going for our big prize. Okay. Because to them, that is the big prize. Unlike Nathan, who's got bigger adventures that his money's going towards.
Yeah. Nathan, back to you. Talk a little bit about the other recognitions and that sort of stuff with like the Amazon gift card with Trails End Rewards. Was it easy to use, easy to get? Or Dad, maybe you could fill in too on that?
So the Amazon gift card was incredibly easy to use. So since my parents already had a Amazon account, what they did was they created a teen account where you can import any amount of gift card or anything like that. So we just put the gift card on that account. I would ask to spend something with the gift card, a notification would go to my parents saying, hey, your child wants to buy this. Will you allow him to buy this?
That's great. So Daryl, did you have to monitor what he was actually buying?
Sometimes. Nathan's pretty mature, so he's made some good decisions and actually hasn't spent all of the Trails End gift card from last year. But my Cub Scout, we have a younger scout, he definitely was asking for some strange stuff. And so there were a lot of times where he would ask for something. And as Nathan mentioned, Amazon has the option for you to open a teen account under your Prime account. And then that way, what we were worried about was that I would accidentally make a purchase and use his gift card. And so by having his own teen account, he was in control of how his gift card got spent. But at any time that he wanted to purchase, Amazon then would send me a text message and I could either approve it or decline it.
Okay. Nathan was kind of hitting this point earlier. It's a question fired up from Jack Pate. Maybe this question really go to Wendy or to Christy or even Becca Scott is, do you feel we've got a good opportunity ahead of us with knocking on doors and asking people to purchase popcorn with people staying at home more? We know we're going to have some challenges, running our popcorn sale through storefronts in that traditional method, but do you think the door-to-door aspect is going to be okay?
I think if we can get the parents to get on board with that and feel safe that they're following the precautions, for, the mask and everything, if we can get enough people to participate in that, I think it's a great idea to go door to door and do that.
Well, one of the things that we're working on is we are looking at securing donations to purchase or acquire Lysol spray and also masks for our units that are going to be placing show and sell orders. So if we can get several hundred, a couple thousand masks for those units that are purchasing, getting the show and sell product that they're going to be going door to door. If we can offer masks to our participants, might be a little bit of comfort to it. It's not the fix all, okay? But it's that reminder too of our encouragement of social distancing, practicing safe hygiene points for our scouts. So we thought about the hand sanitizer too, but the product that we're able to acquire, some people have told us that that's probably not the best stuff because it's kind of gelish and they're worried about it remaining on the hands and then touching their eyes or something like that. So they're a little bit concerned with that. So, but we'll see how that goes. We're not going to put that into print that we're guaranteeing that, but that's one of the things we're working behind the scenes. We identified a potential donor for, they have like 20,000 masks in possession and they're willing to part with them. And when we tossed the idea to them about this, they're very receptive. So we're trying to get that locked down. So hopefully we'll get that wrapped up in the next week or so.
Hey, John.
Yes.
So one thing for all scouts and something that we need to push across the board is when you're going door to door, have a Clorox wipe inside of a plastic baggie so that when you hand the customer the pin so that they can write their information down, you can take that Clorox wipe and clean the pin, hand them the pin, and then clean the pin again. So that way the customer is seeing that you're taking the extra steps necessary to sanitize that pin and they are safe.
That's a great suggestion. I was thinking of something else while we were talking. A neighbor of mine had a yard sale this summer. So when we were talking about how to exchange money, she had a table between her and the customer. So in this case, you might have a front porch or a front stoop, but she would do a clear plastic tray to set the things in for whatever the customer needed. So if it was giving them their change back, or in this case, it would be the pen and the order form. And so you can set that down and then they can take things out of it, set it back down, and then you go forward. So you're keeping that social distancing. And, we're supposed to be prepared. And so the more prepared we look, I think the more inspired people are going to be to buy from us. Because, you asked if this was going to be a good opportunity, John, and so much about this year is unpredictable. It just feels like a wild card, but I think a lot of people are craving some semblance of normalcy. They want to support what is good going on. And so I think buying Scout popcorn sort of feels like supporting normal and supporting good. So we need to go with that angle.
Yeah, without a doubt. I do think we do have some leverage points in the fact that people are staying home. When they are getting out, they're going target to one direction point. They're not wandering around. The opportunity for a storefront is probably not good to happen for us, which is unfortunate, but also understandable. But we've also heard some hints, kind of like what Nathan was talking earlier about making posters, putting them in large enough size for people to see from a large distance away. But this also goes back to what we've talked about before. The last thing we would do at a storefront sale is advertise the pricing on our products, okay? So keep that in mind, that when you throw $30 on the label, that may turn them off. So just having the pictures of the product and sharing that is going to be valuable. So we'll be posting our resource points for this year's sale on the council website probably within the next couple of days. We wanted to get through today with final documents like PowerPoint slideshows and things. But there are a lot of assets that are already built and used and available on the Trails End sites. So Daryl and Nathan, I don't know if you guys pulled anything up from the Trails End sites or use any of their documents, but there's always some hints there too.
What we would do is we'd take screenshots of their documents and then use like part of it. So we take the parts we want, get rid of the parts we don't want.
Won't argue that at all, okay? So for instance, one of the things I wanted to share for everybody to see is the ease of the Trails End app. And there is some documents out there where it talks about signing in for your account on the app, talks about accepting credit cards, as Zane and Wendy were talking earlier about setting a goal. Nathan talked about claiming gift cards. hitting your goals with all different methods, that's on there too. It also has where do you get your questions and answers, emailing support@trailsend.com. Please remember that that is not monitored 24 hours a day, so you have to be a little bit patient. But you can also get support mechanics through their Trails End Facebook pages. The online direct with ship to the customer is one of those options that we're talking about earlier with online shipping. Online, so it's touchless. At the same point, our scouts are not touching the product. That's really helpful. You don't have to return to the home, especially when we have the free shipping opportunities. Those are great sales pitches, but if they hit $30 or maybe $40, if the incentives are there, that helps a lot down the road too. So it does talk about, the flyer here does talk about issuing refunds. It does have the opportunity for storefront shifts that are set up by the unit colonels and recording wagon sales. So to our 3 special guests, anything you guys like to add in regarding the app? Things that you liked. Hopefully the things you didn't like, they've changed or adapted and made better.
So there's also a way for wagon sales to set it from delivered to undelivered automatically. If you go under settings and then app settings, you can do that. But one thing I wanted to point out is when you do an online direct sale, if you want to issue a refund, you have to do it fast because they start shipping it within, our experience was like 2 hours to 3 hours. Somewhere within that time period, it's like, okay, you can no longer issue a refund for this one.
Okay. All right. Any other hints and tips and thoughts we wanted to have? One question I have for our scouts too would be, did you promote online sales with text messages or emails or Facebook, or how did you promote any of your online sales?
We sent messages on Facebook. We posted, not just for online sales, but we posted also every time he had a storefront. We sent a picture of that, posted it on Facebook, please support scouting, come and, purchase some popcorn. And, but for the online sales, we mainly reached out via Messenger to our friends and family and asked them to share it with his link to his, scout page so he'd get credit for it. So that's how we did it.
My kids would send out things on Facebook. They did record a little video clip of them saying, ooh, help me, buy my popcorn. I love it. They'd send that out to any friends and family out of town. And then also they would hear me talking to somebody on the phone, and in the background, honestly, they were screaming saying, hey, have you bought my popcorn yet? So it was always a reminder to buy popcorn throughout the season.
Okay. Nathan, question to you. Have you had any corporate sales or sales with businesses? Any experience with that?
So I have never done those sales. I didn't do them last year. I mentioned it to my dad this year, and he pointed out some businesses are kind of crumbling and are on the brink of closing. Maybe it's not a great idea.
Okay. All right. Well, the other part of it too is don't assume it's always a no. You could still ask. But yeah, doing your research ahead of time. And sometimes there may be door openings that your family may have connections with or you may have the neighbor that has the business that may be willing for that to happen. So don't assume it all the way. But we'll have some different forms of challenges at different points in time. So the other thing too, Nathan, I wanted to have you touch on is the fact that you're in a Scouts BSA troop. You're kind of past the cute stage in a little blue uniform. You're getting to be older and more mature, but you're quick thinking on your feet. How's it going for you in that aspect? Is it more challenging for you? Is it easier because your confidence is up?
You can almost in a way get that cuteness if you are wearing your uniform, because if you're wearing some shirt that you'd wear to like a soccer match, someone may not buy as much if you're wearing your full-fledged scout uniform. Is I believe they also want to see scouts like beginning to think for themselves and almost in a way become adults, but have more independence.
That's great. That's a great way to wrap things up here. Hey, I got one other question and shout out to Zane. I want you to show off your shoes and tell us about why I'm asking you to show me a picture of shoes.
Can you see him?
Yep.
Okay. Here's
The back.
the back. He got his name put on him. And then the front. Yeah, that's cool. So, yeah, maybe show one at a time. So it's like you need to talk about this.
Tell us about it, Zane.
I chose to design it like a galaxy because it looked cool and I really liked the design that it came out in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of it.
And you got to pick all the colors.
I got to pick all the colors around it and I made them just fit with the galaxy theme and I really liked how it came out.
Nathan, just to fill you in, since you're calling in from the Massachusetts area, this is one of our recognitions in the council. When you sell over $4,000, we provide a gift card to Vans, and you can custom order a pair of Vans shoes however you wish. So it was a relatively new promotion we started a couple years ago. The first year, I think we had 4 scouts earn that. And the next year, I think we jumped it up to 14 scouts. So just kind of a neat recognition idea that we want to remind everybody that's out there. And we're really proud of Zane and his efforts to nail it and get a pair of shoes. And it's kind of one of those points too. You can keep them forever. I mean, having your name on your shoes is kind of neat, a little bit different. I picked out the logo artwork from our camp, Old Bend Scout Reservation. Betsy is the buffalo that we put on it. But it's kind of one of those things. You throw artwork on it or a picture. You can have your dog on it if you want. Zane, you could add a picture of your sister on there. Did you want to do that? Probably not. There she is. How are you? Good morning.
He helped with the sale too. She stood up there with him. So, you know.
I'm sure she did. I'm
Yeah.
sure she did. Okay. Any other questions from the group? Because I really want to give a big shout out to Nathan and Daryl for your participation all the way from Massachusetts. Nathan, any idea how much you've sold in your scouting career in popcorn?
In all, it's probably around 17,000. This year we're at 3,000.
Congratulations. That's awesome. That's super. Okay.
Hey, Nathan, do you have 2 or 3 quick hints that you can offer for the scouts that are listening on how you can get customers that are interested to purchase?
So you could also, if they're like, nah, I don't want to, hey, we have coffee products. I still don't want it. Hey, you can also donate to the military. They may want to do something like that, because when you say, do you want to donate popcorn to the military? How can someone say no to that? That is such a innocent offer of, we're giving stuff to the military and it's going to scouting.
Do you want to talk about the
It's
power of a
so
recommendation?
You could also, if they are buying, you could say, hey, would you consider a small $5 or $10 military donation to send popcorn to the military? So then you're adding $5 or $10 to your order of probably like $30. So that's also for the council, that's helping them with the shipping fee since they're having to absorb these fees. And then you've also got an extra $10 or $5 on your sale.
How about recommending specific products?
The power of recommendation is just great. Last year, I know I would always, in all circumstances, recommend the kettle corn because that was my favorites. I'm like, it's also microwavable. There's 24 packs, so you're getting the most for your money. This year, they sadly don't have it. So I've decided to go for the most expensive one with the chocolate lovers, which has surprisingly worked in most circumstances. If they go for the a product that is in the chocolate lovers, then you're like, hey, you can also get this in this chocolate lovers bundle. So they may buy it then too. And that would work for any other bundles like the cheese lovers, caramel something or other bundle that I forget the name of. They have several bundles.
So by upselling, what you're doing is you're taking one sale that would be $15 or $20 and transforming it into a $30 or $40 sale just by making a suggestion.
Yep. Well, Nathan, without a doubt, that's really those are some great last minute hints there, because those are the points that if you have been participating in previous sales trainings with popcorn, that is often encouraged. But putting into practice is kind of difficult. So it does take a little bit of practice ahead of time to be prepared to talk about, well, you're at $20 now. If you do this or this, you might get free shipping. So you're kind of thinking on your feet. That's a great hint. So Christy, anything else to add on behalf of your family?
No, I just hope everybody has a great popcorn selling season. Everybody stay safe, even in Massachusetts. And let's see what we can do to keep these kids on a great road that they're on now.
Okay.
Good luck.
All right. Wendy and Zane, any last minute thoughts?
Say anything?
No.
Oh, we're
Okay.
looking forward to the challenge of this year, and we hope it goes well.
Thanks very much for being a part of it.
Thank
So
you.
on to our other participants. So Daryl or Natalie or Becca or Jack, any last minute thoughts, questions? Okay. Once again, a big thank you to Daryl and to Nathan Hay for participating all the way from Massachusetts. We appreciate you being a part of it. We have recorded this session. If you prefer that we don't keep the recording and we don't post it online, drop me a note and we'll pull it off. But I don't think there's anything that took place that we wouldn't want anybody else to hear. So we're going to share it, and we're real hopeful that others will chime in and watch this at a future date. So many thanks to you. There are another half a dozen sessions going on between now and the middle of the afternoon. If you found this link, you probably got the lineup for everything else happening later on today too. And on behalf of everybody in the Buffalo Trace Council, we want to thank you all for participating. And this wraps up our session. If you got any questions, let us know. Thanks very much.